there's so much more to athletes and coaches than what we see during competition. While sports play a huge role in each of our lives, each athlete and coach has a unique story that makes them the person we see on the court, rink, track, field, or pool. Follow along as we get to know the athletes and coaches at Creek and Behind the Athlete. Welcome to Behind the Athlete. I'm Kel McDavid alongside William McDavid, and today we have Coach Mel from Creek Hockey. Coach Mel is in his 9th season of coaching hockey at Cherry Creek. He is in his 29th season coaching overall and has continued to be very involved in the hockey industry as he has coached for Valor Christian and has coached for youth hockey teams at every level. He also played hockey, including the junior hockey for the Detroit Red Wings, and his 3 sons graduated from Cherry Creek, 2 of whom played baseball, and 1 who was the hockey goalie on the 2015 state and national championship team. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so getting into the questions, how did you get into hockey?
Well, interesting enough, I'd grown up around the sport, but really hadn't even thought about playing. I was playing baseball. They built a rink by my house in Detroit, Michigan, and I told my dad, I said, I'd like to try to play hockey. And so I was a rec player, and back in the day, rec players weren't chosen the way they were now. We were all put on the ice at the same time as 11-year-olds. We kept skating in a circle until the teams were selected. And actually, every team was full, and I was the only one left. And this young coach, Jim Mills, I am forever indebted to him that he said, I will take this kid. And then, and I wasn't very good at all. And he ended up after my second year saying, you should try to become a goaltender. And things kind of clicked from there and then got me going into the kind of competitive stuff. But yeah, I've always loved the game, but I hadn't played. Like most of these kids are starting when they're 3-4 years old, but yeah, that wasn't the case for me.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So obviously you spent time playing hockey. Do you think that, or how do you think being a hockey player yourself kind of influenced your coaching style now and influenced you as a coach?
Well, I tell the kids all the time that really a lot of the game is the same as when I played. It's just that the faces have changed, and that I feel for them when things are going great as a player, reliving my past, and also when things aren't going as well, and try to kind of be the buffer there, that this is really all part of the game, and this is why you love the game so much, because it's a game that you need to win adversity every time, and it teaches you a lot of life lessons. So being that player, I remember the things that they went through, and I try to see how I can make it easier for them.
Cool. Now, you have a unique situation with your team because there are multiple different schools that are have athletes participating on that team. What is that like, coaching a team with multiple different schools represented?
I think once all the kids are there, it isn't any different than with a team that they're all at the school, and that's kind of what I've tried to create with the teams that we've had here, is that we are on the ice a lot, probably 6 times a week, or we're doing a team building or a mental sports performance. I want them to be together as much as possible so that the time that they're away really is just for their schoolwork, and then they're coming to the rink or doing off-ice training or something. And so it doesn't – the only thing that's different is they don't see each other for the most part in the hallways, but other than that, the vast majority of the day, they're together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that was one of the things that we talked to Dalton Berkey earlier this season on another podcast that we do. And it was just interesting to hear him kind of talk about the team chemistry a little bit. I know you mentioned a few things, but can you elaborate on some of the things that you guys do, outside of practice as a team, just to kind of build that relationship?
Well, whenever we're traveling, we're doing multiple events. I think one of our last trips, we had them stand up and kind of go over their whole life history and what they want to be in college, and we had one where we were doing kind of that rock, paper, scissors tournament. So we kind of put them all into different groups. We finally got to and your job was, if you lost, you had to continue to cheer the guy you lost with, because that was part of it, try to get to the championship with your player. And it was amazing part of just team unity, because the guys you didn't think would won, and they loved it. And but we're constantly just doing kind of things where everyone is involved, so that if you're a senior, you're mentoring, but if you're a freshman, which we do have one this year, that you feel so a part of the team, that and that builds a good culture, which is what I think we've had for ever since I've been there.
That's awesome. So now some high school sports are in a gym, and it's like you can feel the energy from the crowd and whatever. And hockey being in a bigger arena, I would assume a little bit harder to get some of that energy going. How do you guys have to manufacture that energy amongst yourselves during a game?
Well, a couple things. The crowds are pretty big. Now, just on Wednesday, we were part of Mountain Vista's Wish Week, and South Suburban was basically sold out, over 1,000 people at the game, and we ended up winning the foundation game. But the kids have all kinds of things before the game that get them going. And that's part of kind of building that team unity. You build it on the bench, and you just keep that motivation going. So when we looked at how we played last year, we weren't allowed to have any fans. So the kids had to be really the cheerleaders on top of the players, and they found a way to do it. And really no different this year. They're a highly motivated group of kids that just have a lot of fun together, which is what you need. And I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something that I think so many people kind of came away from last year with, was just how much you value your team, and then being able to have situations where you can have a crowd, you can have a full rink, and I think that would be really, really cool. You've talked about kind of just the team and the chemistry and all of that. I think 2015, your son was a goaltender on your team, and you guys were state and national champions. And can you kind of talk about what that was like to coach while your son was going through the program?
It was a lot of fun. Now, he had been on the varsity 3 years. We really hadn't played in hardly any games at all this first 2 years. We had some excellent goaltenders. We'd gotten to the Frozen Four. So the young man trained all summer. Literally every day he was on the ice working with goaltending instructors. And I was going to give him that opportunity in the fall. I would have a pretty good idea of what he was going to look like come fall in order to lead this group. And really, it was no coaching by me whatsoever, other than the young man worked very hard and led the team. And in fact, if you go back to look at those games, we won a 6 overtime game against Dakota Ridge, and then we won a 3 overtime game in the championship. And I watched we have all of our videos for every game that we've had, and when you watch those games, it's like big save after save, and it just kept us in there, which is what a coach wants for his team, is just give us that one chance, but you may have to make that save to do it, and he did it. And now he's a goaltending instructor. He's in the hockey community, so I think his passion from playing has turned into passion for coaching and being in the hockey business.
Yeah, that's awesome. We can kind of relate a little bit. Our mom is the head track coach here at Creek, and it definitely is interesting having your parent be your coach, but that's so cool that he made a name for himself. And, that's definitely something that is, I think, tough. And we know a lot of kids that are in a similar boat, but really a cool thing to be able to have that relationship on the ice. So we talked with basketball head coach Ken Dertinger earlier this year, and he said that hockey is his favorite professional sport to watch. What do you think makes the sport of hockey so unique in, over other professional sports? Well,
one, it's specialized. So, literally everyone that's healthy can run and throw. Now, you may not be good at it, but not everyone can just put on a pair of skates and even get across the ice. If you want to learn how to skate, typically you'll go to the rink, you'll rent some skates, and they give you this. It's kind of like a walker that you're just standing there and you're taking step by step until you kind of get your footing there. But what I love is that, especially since I've coached a lot of baseball, is the game is so fast. Things are happening in a quarter of a second, and the players have to be able to identify multiple things at once and then do something about it. Whereas in baseball, you've got a pitch, you've got a guy stepping out of the batter's box, pitcher, walking off the mound, umpire calling time. You're planning your pitch. They're planning what's coming. You got a defense that's behind it. You don't have time to do any of that. Your game plan has to be set up that they have to see it and then adapt to it quickly.
That's awesome, and I think a lot of people that I've talked to are either like huge hockey fans or really don't know a whole lot about hockey. And I think it's a sport that so many people, when they do watch, kind of see that it's just different than some of the other professional sports, because I think it's not as flashy in some ways. I think the players have, at least when I'm watching, I'm thinking, seeing players getting slammed against the wall, and I'm like, you have to really love your team and love the sport to do that every single day and do that for years and years. And so I think that that's something that has seemed, at least from an outsider perspective, someone that doesn't know a whole lot about hockey, that's something that seems like it's a really cool thing about hockey, is just that the people are bought in.
And I think if you come watch the game, even when you watch the Avalanche on TV, it's still not the same as actually seeing it live, where you really see how fast the players are going and all the things that they're doing, and then feeling the body check that are bone rattling and these guys get up. And that's what people fall in love with the game. When they come watch a game, it's like, wow, I didn't really think it was this fast, or the players were that good. And that's what we want. We want people to come watch and then fall in love with it and keep coming.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, and I always am just astounded at the amount of skill that those players have. You think about, like you were saying, baseball. Sure, you're trying to hit a small ball with a bat, but you're stationary. Whereas, in hockey, they're flying around and with that little puck, and I can hardly follow it on the ice anyways. So it really is incredible to watch, and I do enjoy watching it because it's amazing how much talent is required.
Yep.
So going back to baseball a little bit, you've been kind of part of the Creek baseball program in different ways as well. Two of your sons were part of the program. Why baseball? What do you like about baseball? Kind of, how did you get involved in the Creek program?
Well, my sons were young, and I started coming to the games and watching Coach Johnson in the mid-'90s when they were really won those 5 state champions. So my oldest son got into the youth program at Cherry Creek, the original feeder program director, and I was fortunate enough to be able to coach in that program. We had multiple teams there, and then as he started to move on, I kind of kept that program, and I really love Coach Johnson. In fact, we have our Baseball Hall of Fame tomorrow night. That's sold out with 315 people, and we're inducting, I think, our 15th or 16th class of great people. But really, Coach Johnson is the one that drew me to the game, that I wanted to be able to be and teach the game from really the most outstanding coach I've ever met. And it really just kind of leveraged itself into becoming the Diamond Club president, being a coach there. We won a national championship, my team, in 2012. In baseball, took us 7 days in Florida, Port St. Lucie, which is the home of the New York Mets top team. And Cherry Creek had never done that at the national level, and it was a lot of fun. But getting a chance just to be around the same coaches that have been at that, Coach Mark Goldsberry's been forever, Coach Kemena, Coach Blake, Coach Altori, Scarvetta, all those great coaches. I wanted to, when I decided to be able to be part of the hockey program at Cherry Creek, I wanted a lot of the same things from baseball, which is way more patience than a hockey coach usually has. I wanted to bring that to the game. And I want to thank all those coaches there, because they mean a lot to me, and the program is family for sure.
That's awesome. So moving away from hockey a little bit, what is your favorite thing to do outside of hockey?
Well, now it's being with the grandkids. So I've got four grandsons under the 3 and under, and watching them kind of learn to walk, and now they're doing all kinds of things. One's going to get ready to start going to preschool next year, and one of my daughter-in-laws is a second grade teacher in the Cherry Creek School District, and just kind of going out there. It's funny, being a grandpa watching is more pressure than ever than being a parent, because you have to watch your son bite his nails, and then you're biting nails for him plus the kid. So just spending time with my wife. We've been married 40 years, and just doing things with her. And then the other thing is I watch a lot of hockey and baseball. I literally am not home very often because I'm watching somebody play. If someone has a game that they want me to watch, like last night I was watching a couple of our alumni hockey players play at Grand Canyon University. They're in the playoffs, and they sent me a note saying, "Can you watch it on YouTube?" And I watched the whole game, so I didn't go to bed till 11:30. But I just love I love the sports, and that's what I do.
That's awesome. So kind of last formal question is, if someone's thinking about getting into hockey or wants to play hockey at Creek, what advice would you have for them? What's something that you would tell them to kind of about the sport, or just about Creek hockey in general?
It's an excellent experience. We have tremendous coaches. I think that this is a good time to look into the sport, because we're going to start going into our spring season, which is way less competitive, and then we go into our summer skills camps, which you're on the ice a lot, but we're really just developing players and see how much they want to be part of the program as we come into our fall tryouts. And we keep our website really up to date with all the things that we offer, which I think is as good as any program in the state. But it also allows so many different players the opportunity to try it. And we've had, this year I think that we may have I've been told, a young lady that is a really good player that is interested in trying out for the team. And I'm really excited that if she does try out to get a chance to hopefully help her get to the goals that she wants to have and be part of a great community. So I think the best thing is get on the ice, go to a free skate they have on Saturdays at the rink. Costs you about $5. You get to skate around the ice with all your friends, and you kind of get the feel if you like it. And if you do, take up the sport and see if we can help you, reach your goals.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We have 4 rapid fire questions just to finish up. First,
Okay.
What's your favorite NHL team?
The Detroit Red Wings.
What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
What's your favorite food?
Pancakes.
Ooh, that's a unique one. We've not heard that one yet this year. What's your favorite movie?
Goodfellas.
Nice.
Very nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better, spending time with you today, and we appreciate you coming on our podcast.
I'm really blessed to be here. Thank you so much. Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.